coming?
Yes, sir.
Yes, please come in.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir. Thank you.
Hello. You're from Andhra Pradesh,
Yes,
huh?
ma'am.
Andhra Pradesh and Telangana
Andhra Pradesh, ma'am.
are two different states now.
Yes.
Were you in favor of this bifurcation?
Actually, no, ma'am. I think as a unified state,
Can you talk a little louder, please?
ma'am. So as a unified state, we had much better prospects of developing. But I think the regional imbalances have caused the issue of bifurcation. So I was initially not in favor, but I think after bifurcation, both of us have been trying hard to progress and develop and solve the issue of regional imbalances that we had
No,
initially.
so this is not an isolated case. There have been other states which have bifurcated.
Yes, ma'am.
Jharkhand and UP and Uttarakhand.
Yes.
Elsewhere also, I think there have been some splits. So, in general, do you think it's a good idea to have smaller states and cater to the aspirations, both of aspirations of people and also the easier development? What is your opinion about small states and whether more states? Because there are still other states which are still demanding.
Yes, ma'am.
Maharashtra for one.
Yes, ma'am.
So what are the advantages and disadvantages of bifurcation?
So I'll start with the advantages that we have. So most of these demands are due to the regional imbalances in development. So post bifurcation, the state can concentrate on its the regional development and catering to the needs of their people, the smaller states, and also. For example, I'm taking the example of Jharkhand, which had a lot of resources, mineral resources, which the tribal people in Jharkhand felt neglected, that Bihar was taking development. But post bifurcation, the industries have moved to Jharkhand and the revenue that is earned is being used for the state and those people themselves. But if I come to disadvantages, I think as a unified state with a bigger state, so getting the resources from the center or inculcating development and exchanging views between different categories of people, that would be much better as a bigger state. But I think our aim should be that rather than bifurcating a state, a smaller state, try to cater to the needs, find out the issues that people are raising and try to solve those issues so that those demands like the Gurkha land or Vidarbha in Maharashtra.
So you're not in favor of bifurcating?
Yes, ma'am, I'm not in
You
favor.
would rather they stay together and
Yes, ma'am.
give attention to the
So I think it is
neglected
better.
part.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Gati Shakti.
Yes, ma'am.
The Prime Minister has been talking lately about Gati Shakti. What is that about?
So Prime Minister in his speech on 75th year of independence has laid down path for Gati Shakti, which is an infrastructure building project with almost 100 lakh crores, more than 100 lakh crores, which is seen as the path for revival from COVID epidemic that we had, and also for economic development of our country. In Gati Shakti, he has laid down that we are going to cater to roads, railways, power, and also urban development. Certain other factors have been included. So this is what is Gati Shakti about.
I thought it was more a question of integrating the various infrastructure.
Yes.
So even if you have railways, you also pay attention to the waterways, or all types of infrastructure, and coordinated.
Yes, ma'am. So Prime Minister has insisted that within the infrastructure projects that we have, there should be a kind of a multimodal transport systems that we had, where we have ports connected to hinterlands through roads or railways, and
Do
we
you
have
think waterways is a neglected subject, have been neglected in India as a means of transport?
Ma'am, we have a great prospects with respect to inland waterways. We have around 14,000 kilometers which is navigable, but the usage at present is minimal. But the national waterways project that we had, and after start of certain national waterways, few of them, I think we are in the path to maximize the utilization of inland waterways. Presently, government has declared almost more than 100 national waterways to integrate the inland waterways, and also building terminals at certain locations like Haldia and Allahabad to cater to the needs of inland waterways. I think we are in progress.
Mr. Handa.
Okay. What is the significance of carbon dioxide in our life?
So carbon dioxide is the oxygen that humans exhale, but that is a necessity for plants to build up their.
Why is it necessary for them?
It is as a process. I'm sorry, sir, I'm not able to recollect the word right now. The process of building their food. Plants
Making
use
food.
Creating food.
Photosynthesis.
Photosynthesis.
Okay, what happens actually in this process?
So in photosynthesis, carbon dioxide and sunlight gets utilized on the leaves or other parts of the plant, where glucose or energy gets created, which is later progressed as energy.
Okay,
and
that's
burns.
one use of carbon dioxide. Okay.
Next is carbon dioxide plays a major role in atmospheric composition. We have a high amount of carbon dioxide, and it is necessary to maintain the balance in the atmosphere, and also for the greenhouse gas effect that we have.
What is this greenhouse gas effect?
So greenhouse gas effect refers to the amount of energy that enters our Earth from atmosphere.
Our Earth is a greenhouse. What is a greenhouse actually?
Greenhouse is actually kind of an isolated place where energy enters, but the leaving energy would be not equal to what the energy enters.
Naturally, something will be absorbed.
Absorbed. So because the amount of energy reflecting is lesser, there is heating effect that takes place within this atmosphere. So this leads to greenhouse.
Even if carbon dioxide is manageable or low, the same amount of energy will go back.
Sir, there is a balance that generally exists, but because of anthropogenic factors,
So what is the result of this now?
So because of the increase, there is an increase in the overall average temperature that we have on Earth's atmosphere.
Is it good for us or is it bad for us?
It is bad for us because the ecological balance gets disturbed as a whole.
What happens? What exactly is the disturbance in the
balance? When there is a change in the temperature, so we have there's different impacts on different locations. One, if I am taking the glacier locations, so we have glaciers melting because of increase in temperature, which in turn reflects in the water availability at the lower regions. Then if I'm coming to the forest regions, the increase in greenhouse effect, increase in temperature reflects on the forest also. We have forest fires that are
forest fires
which are increasing.
Okay. What can be the ways to reduce carbon dioxide to avoid all these things?
So the primary solution would be to shift from non-renewable and fossil fuels to renewable energy. We have different sources. And the second would be reducing
anything else other than this? This is the negative effect of carbon dioxide.
Yes.
Any other use of or positive importance?
So carbon dioxide is generally used in...
Okay, one more question. What is the difference between, we hear a lot about COVID nowadays, viruses are there.
Yes.
What is the difference essentially between a virus and a bacteria? Because I'm told bacteria also causes some diseases.
Yes. So a virus actually needs a host to survive, whereas bacteria exists on its own.
But what is there in the what is the virus composed of?
Proteins, I believe.
Okay, what is bacteria?
Bacteria, I think...
It doesn't require a host.
Bacteria generally doesn't require a host. It can survive on its own.
Is it so? Is bacteria something like a plant or an animal or some third category?
something like a living organism which can survive.
It's a
on
living
its own.
organism.
Living organism. Yes.
Okay. Can you tell us about some bacterial diseases which are common to us?
So bacterial diseases, sir. I'm sorry, sir. Right now, I'm not.
Some
able to recollect.
okay. Some viral diseases other than COVID-19.
So we have different types of fevers that exist because of viral fever.
Viral fever. Something
and
more.
then we have pneumonia. Pneumonia.
Okay.
Sorry, sir. I'm not able to.
Thank you.
Ms. Soujanya, Ms. Soujanya.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Soujanya, you have done computer engineering, and can you tell us something about artificial intelligence?
So, artificial intelligence is, in a way, we are trying to mimic the human intelligence in machinery. So, we are training the machinery to make decisions based on inputs that we provide and take actions without human interference.
But everybody says that human brain is always better than any machine can ever do. So, how can a machine replicate a human brain? I mean, they cannot do anything. Whatever coding you do, the machine will do. But artificial intelligence, the machine has an intelligence. They can do independently some work which can be programmed.
Yes, sir.
How can it be done?
So, human brain is much more complex. Through artificial intelligence, we are still not at the level of mimicking the complete complexity of human brain, but we are training it to excel at certain tasks. So, for example, to understand, say, a hospital system as a hospital.
But coding-wise, you are a professional. But coding-wise, how will you do that? I mean, coding. I mean, from the way the machine can be made to think. How can you coding? I mean, not as a journalist. Yes. But as a professional in this field, how will you do that? How will you program it like that?
So, there is a field called machine learning where we try to provide, through coding, we try to provide inputs, and based on the actions that have taken previously, we store it as an input, and the machine learns that if I'm encountering the similar inputs again, so this is the action that I need to take. So, if there is a child who is in 10th standard, so the machine automatically defers that, okay, this child must be studying certain subjects. So, I need to provide him with certain, so the video suggestions that we take, for example, the machine automatically deciphers that this student might be interested in a maths class because he's studying in 10th standard. So, through coding, we try to decipher that, okay, based on the attributes of that particular object.
Feed the history, etc. Now, what is IoT?
So, IoT is Internet of Technology, where we try to insert into physical objects, insert internet access and access to physical objects.
How does it help us in our daily life, IoT?
So, through IoT, we can we can decipher information, we can get information from objects, physical objects, and then try to run through the data that it is giving us, throwing us continuously, and then take actions accordingly. So, I would take example of a fitness band, sir. So, in a fitness band, when it is saying that I have completed 5 kilometers of a run, so then we can tell to the user that, okay, you have finished your target for today and these many calories are being used. So, the fitness band has a
Suppose
sensor.
you are given a choice, we are given a position, how will you apply artificial intelligence in Indian Railways?
So, can you repeat the
Indian
question?
Railways.
So, Indian Railways we know that it is one of the largest systems. So, we have certain problems like managing the traffic system. So, which tracks to be taken and also avoiding accidents. So, if we can find out the locations that the trains are going and the tracks, if we can insert all that, a machine can actually learn where the train is actually running, and if there is a chance that there is an accident, it can immediately send an alert system to the driver, and the driver can take action immediately. In the similar system, we can use for booking tickets and making all other services available.
Ticket bookings are always done in a digital, so many years it's going on nicely. So, how can artificial intelligence be used in booking of tickets?
So, we can make it easier for the user. So, right now, even citizens are even dependent on agents, or it is difficult to get tickets, like we say Tatkal tickets and all. Using artificial intelligence, we can make sure that the tickets are available equally to no matter who tries to book the tickets.
Okay, you have studied in Warangal,
Yes.
NIT Warangal. Now that entire area in Telangana, it is in Telangana, that area used to be known as the hotbed of left-wing extremism. What is the status now? Is it still the hotbed of left-wing extremism?
Sir, it is not completely free of left-wing extremism, but it has reduced. So the impact has actually shifted
What
to.
has government done? Government of Telangana done to reduce the incidence? It was actually the starting point of the Warangal.
Yes, sir.
So what has government done to reduce the incidences of left-wing extremism, which of course the other states of Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Maharashtra part, they could not do. They are still going on very strongly. But that area of Telangana, it has really reduced the starting point has reduced. What has government done there, which the other governments could not do or did not do?
So, as a unified state, Andhra and Telangana, initially they had greyhounds, which has actually helped in reducing the Naxalism. And even post bifurcation, there are combing operations that happen regularly in these areas, and along with that, there are other soft measures that they take, which include giving package for Naxalites who are ready to come into the mainstream citizenship, and along with that, they are actually looking into the institutes, colleges or institutions where students generally get attracted by left-wing extremism. So they're trying to create job opportunities and equal treatment to students at all places so that they do not get attracted to left-wing
But
extremism.
that same thing the other states also must have done, but they couldn't succeed, whereas Telangana succeeded. What
Yes.
extra they did which made it successful for Telangana, that area, Telangana area, but not in other areas? Okay, fine.
Thank you.
Soujanya,
Yes.
I see that you are passed out in 2011
Yes, sir.
and almost 10 years.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you have worked in mostly software, different kind of
Yes,
thing, 6 months, 9 months, and of course 3-4 years, right?
Yes, sir.
Now you are aspiring to join the government, right? Okay. So, are you disenchanted with private sector in the country?
No, sir. It is more of my interest towards joining the administration
But
in
that
government
you
services.
should have tried in 2011.
Sir, initially I was not quite aware about the opportunities that
Okay.
civil services offers. So after I finished my.
So you don't find your current job, you are currently not anywhere, because after
So I've
2016 I find that there is break.
yes, sir. So I've quit my job and then I was completely preparing for civil services.
Okay.
But after this year's mains, I've started working as a content developer for coaching institutes.
Okay, content development for
For
coaching,
coaching
institute.
institutes.
Okay. No, but my question remains, how do you see working or in the private sector in India and in government sector? How would you compare these two?
So there are differences in work culture that we see, because private sector mostly, especially software industry that I work with, gets its work culture from Western countries. So comparatively, there is compared to government there are differences, but I think as a whole we are going towards a similar work culture in both
Do you
the
think
places.
that the economic model we have or development model we have adopted in the country is also molded on Western, particularly American system, and it is not suited to our land? Do you feel so?
No, sir. I think we have taken care of different sectors and sections of society that we have. For example,
So
like
we have taken
agriculture.
worst of both, or we have taken best of both?
So we have taken best of both.
I would say
believe,
we
sir.
have taken worst of both. How do you say so?
Sir, because I'm taking example of agriculture sector.
Okay,
Because we
agriculture
have a
sector.
very big dependency on agriculture sector, and our government continuously tries to support agriculture both at the central and the state level, and it
Okay.
does not ignore agriculture sector even if the contribution to GDP is less.
Okay.
So we are trying to increase the
Okay.
contribution.
So can you list out what are the programs in the agriculture, national programs in agriculture sector?
So
Major programs?
yes, sir. So we have PM Krishi Sinchai Yojana, which caters to
Okay, that is
irrigation.
for irrigation.
Then
Yeah.
we have Kisan Samman Nidhi, where we are trying to provide a direct benefit
farmers.
transfer to farmers. Then we have mandi systems and mandi system marketing side of agriculture, where we are supporting farmers directly selling through online e-markets or directly.
So how do you feel about this farmer, all these reform, agriculture reform, this package against which farmers are quite worked up? Okay. So how do you see this? This is a step in right direction or a step not favored by farmers or not actually helping the farmers?
Sir, I think the motive of the government is towards progress of farmers, but we need to make it clear to farmers and make them understand what is government actually planning. We need to make sure that
But don't you think enough has been explained, enough has been deliberated in last 15-20 years in this country?
I think some of the demands that farmers are making, like make the MSP, make sure that MSP still remains even after the loss. So government has to
MSP remains have been assured.
Yes, sir. But there's still apprehension that corporate sectors might take over.
Okay. There was some, what is hidden hunger?
So hidden hunger refers to the malnutrition. It's not actually the availability of the food, but the absorption that the children have, and malnourishment, which leads to stunting or
so absorption of, and basically what specifically it refers to, micronutrient or major nutrient?
Micronutrients.
Micronutrients. Okay. And recently Prime Minister has announced something on to address malnutrition. What is that?
So
on 15th August, he mentioned something on that.
Yes, sir. So he has mentioned that malnutrition has to be a major.
He mentioned about fortification of rice.
Yes, sir.
Okay, by 2024,
yes, sir.
Fortification of rice to be done. Okay, what is fortification? Any idea?
Fortification is deliberate addition of nutrients to food items.
Okay.
For example, you're adding iodine to salt or adding zinc to
so
rice.
What he is talking is not new. Actually, it was also done in some year of budget. Are you aware of that?
So this was earlier. Such programs have been addressed, but right now Prime Minister has announced it a large scale, where it would be part of all the
Part
food
of
subsidies,
the PDS system,
PDS system.
Everywhere.
Yes, sir. So even in the midday meal
that's
scheme of children.
That's the approach. Okay. Last question. Major program you think can actually take care of undernutrition? Okay, in the country, what is already under the nutrition program?
So we have the midday meal scheme for midday meal scheme, and then we have health schemes for
health schemes for micronutrient and other thing. Yeah.
And sir, I can think of these two right now.
That's all.
Sorry, sir. The National Nutrition Mission.
National Nutrition Mission. And what are those under that?
So under that, we want to reduce the anemia, anemic women, address the anemia of women, and also reduce the stunting to half.
Okay.
And
any other program for children?
So immunization programs that we have.
I think you are ICDS, Matritva Vandana Yojana,
Yes, sir.
and PDS.
Yes, sir.
Okay, PDS for this. Okay,
Yes.
fine.
Thanks.
You did your schooling from Vishakha Junior College, then you went to NIT Warangal,
Yes, sir.
worked in Oracle.
Yes, sir.
Then you changed to Home Vista Decor Furnishing Private Limited, then Mountain Trail Foods Private Limited.
Yes, sir.
Now, what is the job of a computer science graduate in these organizations?
So the first company, Oracle, that I have worked there.
Oracle is okay, I understand.
So the other companies, both of them were startups. So we were trying to initially build a proof of concept. So the first one is the interior decoration company, but they were trying to add a customer relationship through digitization, which would make it easier for the whole task. So we generally see that the time gets delayed.
And what about the food processing?
Food processing company, it was more of catering food to businesses rather than to the customers. It was to businesses like other software companies, Google. So there we were trying to build some IoT-enabled machines which would help.
Now, regarding your junior class 12 school,
Yes,
Vishakha Junior
Yes,
School or College,
yes, sir.
where else you have heard this term Vishakha?
So we have heard of Vishakha guidelines.
What are those?
Vishakha guidelines refers to guidelines for handling sexual harassment of women at workplace. So based on these guidelines, government has also already passed an act to have establish an
Now, you
internal
have also
committee.
worked in 3 organizations.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Tell me whether what do these organizations do to follow these government-like guidelines?
So the first step is to set up an internal committee.
Have they set up? I want to know the field position.
Yes, sir. So Oracle has set up. Out of the 2 startups, one has set up. The other one was still in the process of setting up.
So it is not being very strictly followed.
So it was still
And
getting.
where now you are working as content writer,
Yes,
do
sir.
you
So,
have to go to office very often?
no, sir. I do it from home
From
as
home
a
only.
freelancer.
So there is no need to for.
But they have established a person for addressing these issues.
Now, what do you think? These schools, there are 2 kinds of schools, private schools and then the government schools.
Yes, sir.
Government schools, the standards are not that high as it is in the private schools. How can we bring the government schools to the level of private schools?
So we have addressed the availability issue with respect to schooling right
Everything.
now. Yes, sir. So right
You
now,
identify the issue, tell me very briefly.
yes, sir.
Okay. This is the issue, sir, and that is how we should solve it.
Yes, sir. So with respect to availability, we have covered that. We have universal enrollment in primary education and higher education, but we still have dropouts issue when it comes to higher education. For dropouts, there are certain measures. First thing is to encourage better learning.
Schools have dropouts.
The higher secondary, higher.
No, I'm not talking very high. Schools
Sir, I'm
up
talking-
to class 12.
Yes, sir.
If there are dropouts, what are the categories who go for dropouts? What should be done to stop the dropout?
Yes, sir.
Don't tell me government programs, this, that, your suggestions.
Okay, sir. So at the school level, dropouts, not at the primary school, but at the secondary and senior 11th or 12th class, we have people dropping out and going for working, the students, especially the poor families. So in that case, we need to ensure that the teachers and the local administration can enforce the policies that we have and encourage students to come to school and make sure the
Okay.
standards.
What are the other issues are?
Next is the learning outcomes. There are issues with respect to learning outcomes where we have.
Now let's identify like this. The school is there, whether the students are there,
So
whether the teachers are there, the basic facilities are available or not, what are the standards of teaching.
so
It's not going to the jargon of words, simple identification.
yes, sir. So
And then how you sort it out.
yes, sir. So I would like to take example of my native village and take the school there
Okay.
and what can be done. So the first thing is there is a building, but the building is not proper. We do not have a
Perfect.
boundary wall.
So there is an
So
issue
there's
of
an issue.
infrastructure. Okay.
So approach the panchayat, try to get fund from the panchayat, and also if possible the education, the offices related to education.
Why do we go to panchayat? Why can't we go to a private entrepreneur? As their CSR initiative, it can be done.
Yes, sir. That is also an alternative.
Possible?
Yes, sir. It is possible.
Okay. What
yes, sir.
next?
So next thing is availability of teachers. There's only 2 teachers available for 1st to 10th standard. So 1st to 5th standard, 1 teacher handles, and 5th to 10th standard, 1 teacher handles. So for this, I think we need to approach the government and get more teachers. And there's also an issue of teacher
Their pay
absenteeism.
scales are okay.
Yes, sir. Presently, the pay scales are.
Then why the other teachers are not coming and attending the school? Or they are
because,
more concerned towards their agriculture and other activities, or maybe politics also.
It is with respect to the school that I'm talking, it is more about the location of the place. So because it is interior, they rather prefer to stay in a better place. So that is one issue. I think
For that, what your role will be as a district magistrate?
so there should be strict enforcement that if a posting is given at a place, the teacher should have to attend
Okay,
that
fine.
place.
What next?
After this, teacher, and then the students' availability of basic facilities like drinking water and all, that can be taken care with CSR funds.
So
or
I
other
hope
funds.
that all these steps that you have suggested
Yes, sir.
will make the government school of the same standard as that of a private school.
Yes, sir. So the last one that we have is the learning outcomes, where the student should understand and try to inculcate the basic skills for them to take up education later. So for the learning outcomes, I think we need to act both at the teacher level and the students level. So the teacher level would be training and making sure that they are on par with.
Okay, my last question to you.
Yes, sir.
Who is the chief minister of your state?
Pardon, sir?
Chief minister of your state.
Sir, 𝐻𝐺𝐿 Reddy.
And who is the governor?
𝐵ishwakalya. Sorry, sir, I'm not able to.
You are not aware of. Governors are nowadays inconsequential. So
Okay, your interview is over.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions or any guidance you would like from any of the panelists?
Ma'am, the general feedback that I've been getting is that I speak very fast when I'm speaking. So if that issues, no problem.
Nothing like that.
Yes.
because of the mask issue, ma'am will tell
But
you.
you should speak, your pitch should be high.
Okay. Okay.
Right now it was slightly subdued.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Well, you're quite well informed, and you are able to present your answers, etc., quite well. As far as possible, try to avoid long answers.
No, I'll just-
Try and do them point-wise instead of an essay type. Okay, type of answers, because already the person knows what he's asking and the subject on that. So make it as brief and as to the point as you can. Some of the more topical questions which will come up, I can't tell you at the moment, but keep reading the newspapers. Underline, cut out, whatever are what you think are the most topical questions in the week before you have your interview, so that you know all the details. And then there are some things which are ongoing. I mean, they're not topical. Things like government programs, government plans, especially for women. Nari Shakti, women's empowerment, nutrition mission. All these kinds of things are ongoing, so they're not topical in that sense. So think of all, and plus your own DAF,
Yes.
whatever you have written in your DAF, your interests, your education, what use it can be put to in government setting. Some knowledge about other states of India, particularly the Northeast, Andamans. These are the smaller territories and all where you have opted for Telangana itself, or Andhra, is it?
Andhra.
Andhra. So maybe you probably know about Telangana, but if not, then read up on their latest developments. And basically what is happening, give your own opinion. The power balance between the executive and the judiciary, that's an ongoing tussle, an ongoing issue. So your opinion on that, what does the Constitution say? Second thing is, governors everywhere are at loggerheads with the elected governments. So who is in the right, the governor or the thing? Again, read up what the Constitution says on that. So these are some of the things that you'll be asked, and will be asked not only for facts, but for opinion. Now, your opinion, you can for when you are asked, you can give the facts in support of your opinion. You can say, yes, this is my opinion, but there can be other interpretations of it. So I think these are some of the pointers that I can tell you at this moment.
Thank you.
So you yourself know which are the questions you couldn't answer. We don't have to repeat that. So wherever you didn't know the answer to what they have asked you, just look it up and be well versed in that. Okay? I think that's,
Thank you.
you'll do quite well, I think.
Thank you. Thank you.
All the
Thank
best.
you. Thank you.